Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to probably one of, if not the last match of the regular season. Kind of wrapping up the entire thing, getting ready for the playoffs upcoming. And a good match between the number one and number two team, kind of really giving a preview of what the playoffs could look like. And I'm here with TC Mono.
I'm very excited to be here. Like you said, it could be a preview of a something we might see at the very end of playoffs if the current regular seeding is to be believed. The top two going at it over on Gully Wash. I think this was actually one of the first times we've seen this map in the regular season. It hasn't been picked or played too often. Teams kind of preferring your standard process, Snakewater and Sunshine for the most part. We haven't really seen like Gully Wash or anything like that. So excited to see that tonight. And the Chuds are coming in here as still probably the underdogs, but I think they've surprised a few people with what they've been able to achieve over the course of a season. You know, getting some nice upset wins over the wall. It wasn't in the RGL regular season, but they played Froyotech a couple times in some monthly cups, and they were able to take maps off of them there. So I think there is a little bit of an expectation for the Chuds to perform a bit better than they did against Froyotech last time. I think they've been able to improve, but with that being said, Froyotech have maybe potentially gotten a little bit of an upgrade or a side grade in their roster with Yite swapping out for Logan. Obviously, people know Logan more as a demo player, but he's going to be playing Scout for Froyotech, and I think it's just going to be another heavy hitter that the Chuds are going to have to deal with tonight.
Yeah, Froyo's still with a very experienced championship roster here, and talking about that kind of monthly cup of Chuds giving some nightmares to Froyo. Even though Froyo had a couple ringers, the Chuds looked very good, and so far throughout the season have really shown that they're no slouch, especially with the season kind of looming with G6 at the beginning and the wall kind of then becoming that second number two team, and them really coming out and showing that they are the real deal and showing that they can take maps and maybe even series from these top teams such as Froyo and the wall. And I'm excited to see how they kind of perform on a less I feel like Gully Wash is one of the maps that the better team usually wins. There's not too many upsets. It's kind of very straightforward. You know how to play it or you don't.
Yeah, that's very true. With that being said, I do know that there have been some kind of historic reverse 5-0 sweeps. I don't know if that's necessarily an upset. Maybe it's just, you know, the winning team wasn't losing, then they finally got their act together and they were able to do the reverse sweep. But with that being said, I do definitely agree, even though it's not as plays as maybe something like Process or Snakewater, it is definitely very well understood. And if the Chuds are going to come in here and try and win this map, they have to have something up their sleeve, which I assume they do, because they did pick this map in the little map selection that they did. So they definitely feel something on this. This wasn't a Froyotech pick, and the Chuds are now just having to adapt. They chose this one out, and so I'm excited to see what that means generally. Gully Wash, very projectile favored map, so you're kind of looking immediately at your demo, at your soldiers to really try and do something, be that playmaker for your squad. Not to say that Scout's good everywhere, but it really is a projectile dominated map in comparison to some of the other 5CP ones.
I think the main key feature is obviously winning mids is good, but with this being one of the maps that breaking that last hold's actually not too difficult, it makes winning mid even better. You're not on a Snakewater where losing the mid's kind of whatever because you can just have that really, really strong hold. You really have to work, and everyone has to play well in order for, especially a team like Froyo, to hold against that last pressure. And I think that makes mids even more important, which so far I think the key feature of the Chuds is that they are just a good team. They all work together, they make sure they're on the same page, and that could be really, really good, especially with how important soldiers are on this mid especially.
Ooh, actually, speaking of soldiers, if my if what I'm looking at is to be believed, Loaf is going to be stepping in instead of Dam for tonight. Loaf, just a substitute on the Chuds roster. It's been Dam for the majority of the season, so I don't really know how much that's going to affect. I mean, you know Loaf Marmaloo. I know he's been an invite before, and he's invite tested. and Dam is a little bit newer in comparison, but it might be a little bit of a switch up because the Chuds, like you said, have really been good in that team cohesion, and bringing in a substitute, even a good substitute like Loaf, might throw some things off, especially if you're trying to go for gully wash and you're relying on your soldiers maybe to do some coordinated plays on mid.
The nice thing, I think Loaf is known, he is a soldier who has a microphone and can use it, and especially I think over the last season or so, definitely was on the up and up with his stock, at least as a TF2 and a soldier player, which obviously you're completely right with. Having a new soldier definitely makes it a little different with the mids, even with maybe, I'd say probably an upgrade. I think that they'll be able to kind of still have that soldier synergy, but not nearly to the degree they would have had normally. But they are not in a terrible spot with the substitution, and there should be no reason that they can't win this game. But kind of getting closer to this game eventually starting, who's the kind of key players you want to look at on each team here?
Ooh, I mean, I know we've been hyping up the soldiers so much, but I just have to shout out Raven. Every time I've been able to see him, I think he's done very fantastic stuff. And, you know, we did say it is a projectile favored map, but that doesn't mean that Scout can't go big. And I'm definitely looking at him to be maybe not necessarily as big on the mids, but I think he can take some pretty good exchanges and get some good space for his team against them. So definitely Raven, and then Math as well. Math and Dam have been very impressive to me as a soldier combo, even on just every other map. So Math, I'm definitely looking forward to see him pull out some crazy plays over on Froyotech. I mean, it's just hard not to shout out a player if they've got a star-studded roster. As we said previously, all of them LAN, you know, proven and tested. I would say, honestly, Logan. I want to see what he can do. Even on this map, you can do some kind of cool things as flank scout, especially towards Big Door. It's, you know, something that maybe you do to break a stalemate between mid and second. You'll put your flank scout through Baby Door. He'll run in behind over in lobby and either get a pick or just draw some eyes. And I think Logan can definitely have that in him to go into lobby, have the confidence to maybe take a 1v1 against someone who's not expecting it, and generate some momentum for his team. So ironically, I'm going to say two of the scouts and Math as well.
A scout being a little harder, it makes it even more important to have those standout games. And scouts definitely can still have huge impacts on this map. It's just not in the as traditional of a sense. But I think, I'd say probably, I think the key part of the Chuds right now, I think, is honestly Slug. From seeing some games, he's been incredible, making some good plays on his own, kind of just being the heart of the team, putting out consistent damage. On a map like this where you really need to shut down those chokes, it is going to be a lot on that demo to actually kind of lock down those doors. And on the other side of it, I guess I'll say, you know, Laz, especially with that demo matchup, he is the one that's going to be trying to keep him in check, keep Luddy in check, and Laz just overall as an individual is, he's always going to get his man, and I'm not going to be surprised if I see that happen in this game especially. But I think the main player, at least, that will kind of be the breaker if this team is going to be unbeatable versus kind of beatable is if Patty can kind of put up his own numbers as well. And if you've noticed throughout the matches, Patty's numbers are never incredible. That's not necessarily what he's trying to do. It should be it can be like a product of making these plays. But if Patty can have good stats while everything else is kind of clicking, it's going to be a very impossible game to try and win here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If, you know, if not, if the Chuds can maybe just try and, you know, take down that one member of Froyotech, that'll open up a lot of space and a lot of room for them to really try and get onto everyone else. So definitely Patty, if they shore that up, and, you know, he's having a really great game, I do agree it's going to be very, very hard for the Chuds to really make any headway unless they have their just own kind of Hail Mary plays going all out. But we have talked a little bit. We've talked around the topic, but who do you think is going to win? I'm going to go with the Chuds. I'm going to back them.
Ooh,
you know,
okay.
They're going to be able to get that upset win over Froyotech before we head into playoffs. Make it nice and spicy, something to look forward to. I think it's going to be a 4-something game. 4-2. Actually, no, 4-3. 4-3.
Okay,
it's going to be a 4-3 game. Yeah, I think Froyotech is going to get to 3 first, and then it's going to get to continuous overtime there, and then the Chuds are going to have a late game resurgence, 2 rounds back to back. But I could very well be wrong. Marbleu, what do you think is going to happen?
No, I like that. I was definitely thinking that one of these teams is going to come out with a big start. I honestly think, I agree. I think Froyo is going to have a really good game plan kind of rolling into these first couple mids. Probably rip off 2 right away, and then the Chuds, the game will kind of slow down. They'll probably trade some rounds, but I think overall Froyo is probably going to win this at something like a 5-3, we'll say. I think the Chuds definitely have a chance, but I think, especially the Ringer, maybe they'll start off a little bit slower and have to get used to what Froyo's going to be throwing. Because especially with a team like, or the roster like this and Patty on Soldier, their mids are going to be sacrificing all of the health and everything to try and get instant space and damage, which, if you're not ready for that, you are just going to blow up and stand no chance at all.
Not going to stand a chance. Hopefully, however, the Chuds do, because I think even if they do lose this, their seeding is pretty much secure for invite. Actually, oh wait, what? The Wall have 9.5 wins? Unfortunate for them. Well, that definitely means that the Chuds, even if they lose this, I believe, are going to have enough. Actually, does it go down to percent of rounds won? Because they're equal at the moment. So if they do lose this, maybe they could be 3rd seed, but either way,
well, I think if they lose and then the Wall wins, it should be 11 wins to 10.5. So I think the Chuds will still have the lead because of that penalty. So okay. I think if it did go to a different tiebreaker, maybe, but with that penalty, it's going to affect it. And then in this case, most of the time with pick bans in TF2, I feel like most teams are pretty good at most of the maps where having that tiny pick ban advantage, because the Chuds and the Wall are going to be playing no matter what. It's just kind of seeing who kind of gets the preference in pick ban. But overall, the matchup's already sealed. Froyo is going to play Black Swan, and the Chuds are going to play the Wall in the kind of first round there. And just kind of getting a good idea of where we should be starting off leading into this playoffs and who's kind of feeling more confident.
Yeah, it should be very, very exciting to see some of these guys go for best of 3s, because especially the Wall versus the Chuds, that's turned into a little bit of a rivalry, obviously, with the Chuds losing out in the first one, the Wall winning that one, and then the Chuds having a pretty solid and pretty dominating win over the Wall in the second time they played together. So maybe getting a little bit more of a definitive answer onto who is the better out of the two of them is going to be very, very exciting to watch, because like you said, the matchups are confirmed. But I think it is interesting, at least for the Chuds. They're going to have to deal with Branslam, because I don't know, you've been talking about Slug Mundo, every match that the Chuds have played been on fire. Branslam, every match I've seen him played recently, he has been unstoppable, just doing everything, looking like Prime Banny out there, putting up those numbers on the Pocket Scout, just going in, shooting everyone, shredding every single person in sight. And I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially if he goes on to Sniper, which I know, Gullywash, maybe not, the Sniper map that processes, but, if you play Big Door and if you go into lobby from second to last, there's definitely some room to hit some shots, and there's definitely some areas for surprise Sniper plays. If you're looking on second from up by river, you can definitely get a cheeky shot if the enemy team isn't, looking for it. And if Froyotechs are on the ropes, I could definitely see Branchland pulling that out, getting a quick headshot, and just ruining all of the Chuds' momentum.
And that is what happened in that game against the Wall on Via. But I don't know how new some players are, or people watching. Brandslam used to be that guy on Combo Scout, especially back in the kind of prime Witness days. He was the best Combo Scout, I think, playing, and then Caps came around and all that stuff. But still, he was definitely the best Combo Scout for that time running, and was kind of unstoppable for the core of that WG team that did upset that Froyo Legacy roster. And definitely a great player and a great kind of plug-and-play fit for a Froyo team, especially with Banny being able to kind of have more faith in his Combo Scout in this case, where a lot of times maybe he doesn't feel confident in the market to switch off Combo Scout. He can now flex to that demo and have someone who is at his level filling that role, which definitely allows for some more flexibility with the roster moves.
Yeah, it does allow a lot of flexibility. Banny going on to the demo, the return of a Pipe Jesus from so many seasons ago. Actually, it was like a few seasons that he played demo though ago. I think it was the roster with Sandblast. Correct me if I am wrong. I think he played Mo on that one. But I believe we are about to go live. So it should be a very exciting match over on Gully Wash. Just a reminder, guys, your final chance to get your predictions in if you want to win big or lose big, however it turns out on this match. I'd be going all in on the Chuds. Let's see how that plays out. And Marmaloo, how do you think Froyotech is going to be able to take this first mid, or do you think the Chuds are, because they picked the map, are going to have something up their sleeve?
I think what we're going to see is we're going to see some double bombs straight into the enemy big door, and Banny's going to hold W, the scouts are, everyone's going to be all over the Chuds, and I don't know if the Chuds will be ready for it or just be caught off guard, but I think we're going to see an all-out double bomb from the soldiers and just unleashing all the ammo, health, and everything into the big door.
We'll have to see. Hopefully the Chuds have got some idea of what to expect. Otherwise, they are about to be in a world of hurt. Maybe Laz is going to do the Bashi rollout and just immediately get onto Slug Mundo. You'd hate to see it, but we won't have to theorize or hypothesize any longer as we are going live. Froyotech versus the Chuds on Gully Wash, the top two seeded in the current regular season. Going to be very exciting to see how it plays out in Marmaloo. Take it away on this very first mid.
All right, so we're seeing a normal rollout here. Both teams kind of getting through the big door. Let's see, are there any bombs coming in? And I am absolutely wrong. The entirety of Froyo kind of playing a more standard mid. Both teams kind of deciding to stay on their side. Low for the high bomb with no help. This double soldiers are coming in. The soldiers not finding anything. They get the trade onto Patty. They're training both their soldiers out, but Raven getting killed along with Big Bank is going to call a mid loss for the side of the Chuds. And just kind of a forced aggression there, and now Froyo may be able to roll this with Brand Slam and Banny already getting in the lobby onto Luddy. It's all on Slug, who hits the big pipe onto Hubada, and that is going to kind of give them a chance here, and he may have a chance to get Brand Slam too. Very weak, and he just gets picked off there. But overall, a solid mid on the side of Froyo. They just kind of absorb the aggression and then get the chase down, but unfortunately, Hubada dying there late, evening those Ubers out.
Yeah, Slug, good job from him kind of recognizing the situation. He and his medic weren't able to get out of that alive, so he instead went for Hubada instead, and has been able to guarantee his team a stalemate on second to last. Going to be even Ubers. Immediately see Big Bank with that sentry gun building it up, and now, like you said, we can see Froyotech try and push this last.
Yeah, we're gonna see some push, some peek in here, all that stuff, and it's gonna be really on all the projectiles to have a good job stuffing these doors. Because as soon as one of these players go down, as soon as that gun goes down, it's all going to go to chaos, and you can easily see about 3-4 people just explode straight in there, making it very difficult to hold. And that is the nice thing about a map like Gully, is that the stalemate is actually pretty breakable compared to some impossible maps. But the spam coming out, there goes the gun, and now the cap time is out. No one is there to stop the point. So much time, and just capping it straight off with nothing happening, and just a perfect execution on the side of Froyo.
Yeah, really, really great stuff, and a nice early round for them as well. But Chud's gonna have to find some way to try and respond to that one. But, you know, it was their map pick. Hopefully they do have something up the sleeve. Like you said, that last mid didn't go their way. Going for the aggression, Froyotech able to just absorb it, like you said, this time. Let's see what they're opting to do. Banny taking a bit of damage. It is going to be a fadeaway bomb for map low over on the low ground. Not committing just quite yet. It's just going to be trading spam damage with Laz. Now it is going to be the call for the soldiers to make a move on the side of the Chuds. Get some good damage off on the Patty, but that's not really the person you want. Hubada taking a bit of damage. Map went up the drop down. It could be an opportunity for someone to get on, but no. It seems like Froyotech should have been able to absorb the most of it, and with Luddy going down, they definitely have the final two remaining, Raven and Slug Mundo. Slug is just going to jump over to safety, and that is going to be another one mid for Froyotech. They only have to worry about Big Bank in behind, but at least for the moment, they're not too concerned.
Yeah, but here we go with kind of that scout behind, just seeing what's happening here. Gonna get a couple players on the 2v1. And just kind of soloing out here. Big ad on the side of Hubada. Raven on Sniper. Getting the headshot on the Banny, but just having that Uber ad to kind of work with here.
Yeah, they are going to have the Uber advantage, and that's going to buy them, that shot on the Bandy, sorry, is going to buy them a little bit of time to get their defense fit set up. Big Bang trying to go for a play onto the point and deny Logan the capture up to buy his team even more time, but fortunately is going to be down, meaning Froyotech are going to have a player advantage, making this push a lot easier for them. Laz going to be going into water, and maybe just getting into position to immediately get onto that point. Branch Slam ready to try and take it in, and it is maybe gonna be go. They're just taking their time. Patty now jumping in is getting denied by the sentry gun, but they have a lot of time onto the point. Actually not opting to use the Uber, kind of going for a sack play instead. They lose 3 because of it, and now they are gonna have to back up. Probably gonna have to use on second if they don't get out in time.
Yeah, but great job there getting 3 players down, but as the longer the clock ticks, the better it's going to be from Froyo. Big Bank in Big Door, kind of hiding up, and he may get a chance to kind of jump one of these spawners, but no one spots it, and this may be really, really good if Big Bank kind of holds back, can get behind, and get a really nice flank going. But the problem with this is, unless he basher jumps, or if I don't know if you can winger straight up, oh, he's going to have winger, so he can get in the river. And this may be some really good timing if the rest of the team can kind of hold on for a second more. Big Bang coming in on the flank. I think Laz may have saw it. Big Bang getting picked off in lobby, and it's going to all be falling apart. There is no sentry gun, just a heavy to hold this point, and the spam coming in. Logan already in that water, and it's going to start slowly pressuring up. But great job from Math kind of shutting that down really quickly.
Yeah, really great job from Math. And Banny is going to get bombed by 2 soldiers. Takes a lot of damage, but a nice air to be kept alive there from Hubada. And they are going to lose their soldier in Loaf. They find another, but Banny taking so much damage, barely staying alive. Math trying to get onto Medema, wanted him so much, not going to get it. Now the Uber comes in from Froyotech, the counter from the Chuds. Looking a little bit better for the Chuds. No one else from Froyotech has really gotten in, so they don't have any space to stay. Now Patty gonna jump in, wraps around just to try and draw eyes. A bit of cap time onto the point from Branson, a lot of cap time. That is going to be the second round from Froyo.
Just so far, we've just been seeing the effect of you win mid, and holding that last is really hard. They were in a really good spot. Big Bank accidentally kind of getting caught there, and this is really going to make this mid even more important. Froyo up 2-0 already and just looking dominant. They really haven't had to do anything too crazy. They've been kind of just playing it nice and standard and just winning the fight when it comes to them. But Math already super weak, and his mid is already almost over. Both soldiers really weak, and the spam battle is just going so much better from Froyo. The entirety of the Chuds weak already in this corner. Patty coming in, and everyone looks like they're going to be caught here on the side of the Chuds. And Froyo just kind of dismantling. Loaf in. Airshot opportunity, does not hit it. Banny getting 2 kills there, and it's going to be on Raven, who's behind, and Math, who is all the way out. Man, the spam here has been crazy.
Yeah, the spam from Froyotech has been really hard to deal with for the Chuds. Like you said, Raven still over in the enemy team's big door map. Trying to go for a very big bomb onto Hubada is not going to hit enough damage to get the force or the kill. Raven has been spotted, but the rest of Froyotech are just aggressing forward. Banny already doing spam into the enemy team's last, as Raven is still trying to get back and maybe get into position to try and help them. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there in time, as Froyotech already walking in. So much damage. They got some cap time onto the point already. The Uber finally being used from them. The Chuds nowhere near close, and they're just going to be able to stand on top of it. Laz over in water is going to trade out with Math, as they could have an opportunity here, but Scouts have to hit a lot of shots. But once again, it's just going to be Brand Slam getting onto the point 3-0, and they're just looking unstoppable right now.
Yeah, the mids so far, at least the first 2, Loaf and the side of the Chuds really forcing the aggression. There's no health, and they're really just trying to bomb. And it didn't work. And this first mid, both soldiers start the mid off with less than 100 HP on their own side, which means you have no space on the map and you have no health. That med cannot bow. Here's a fast mid coming out from Froyo. The aggression kind of bullying Slugmundo out, and he's completely out of the fight for a couple seconds.
He is completely out of the fight, but Froyotech's combo, Banny and Laz, not really able to get in, and they might have to give it up because of it. Patty is going to go down. Logan, the only one left on the actual midpoint for Froyotech, is also going to go. So Froyotech maybe trying to change something or fix something that wasn't broken with that mid plan, not working out, and this is going to be the first chance that the Chuds have had to start getting some ground on Froyo.
And it's always a tough idea of like, do we want to keep it going? Do we want to mix it up? And they decided to go for that kind of sending a lot of health and ammo to get that instant aggression and get almost no value with it. Slug doing a great job just kind of cutting that aggression off. And then the rest of the Chuds taking Froyo's side, and the rest of Froyo kind of stuck in no man's land on the low ground, deciding to leave on that note. But this is honestly not too bad of a stalemate for Froyo to be stuck in. Like you were talking about earlier, the Chuds have taken Froyo's lobby and gotten 2 players behind, but we want to see how are they going to actually coordinate this together, make something actually happen. Besides just getting behind is pretty easy, but making some effective play from it is the most important part. Anyone can just walk in the lobby.
As someone is going to get shoved over by Choke, it's going to be Laz and Brand Slam shoving the Choke and forcing Math, the only one defending it back. Loaf is going to trade out for Logan, and that might be the end of this lobby play, especially with Big Bang going down. So 2 down on the sides of the Chodes. Froyotech do have a player advantage. They're rotating over. They do have a soldier through lower. Is going to try and go for a play onto the medic. Gets a clean rocket, but not onto the medic. It's onto Map. Is going to be able to surf away, and Laz taken down. Brand Slam as well went through the Choke to try and help deal some damage. Is not going to be able to get back out, and now it's going to be the Chuds with a player advantage and maybe an opportunity to try and go for something.
That was a great sacking opportunity. Both scouts down for a couple seconds there. But just a great job from the Chuds really making that happen. Laz getting a little bit early, and the rest of the team not being able to support. But a lot of damage on Patty. But in the end, oh, here comes a one-man. He's not going to end up getting much. Trying to reconvene with his Soldier River. And they sack every projectile, which means mid is gone, and they are going to be banished to 2. And if Froyo stacks, they could deny the rest of the spawners. And it looks like they're just going to keep one on it, which... it looks like it should end up denying. And the Force comes out. Uber in onto Brand Slam. The Force trying to come out onto Hubba. Hubba getting forced off at the end by Raven. Great play. And even with that one player capping, just barely denying everybody else. And Luddy getting caught super late is going to spell disaster for the side of the Chuds. It's going to be in time for salvage. Loaf really, really weak, not being able to really make anything happen from there. So once again, wasn't a favorable situation, and now back into the dungeon that is your last, which has not been a nice place to be in so far.
No, it has not, and only now is Luddy able to respawn and give his team some heals, and Froyotech are just going to wait until they get their own Uber. They've been able to successfully convert every single opportunity at pushing last that they've had so far in the past, and you know, history shows it's probably not going to be any difference of a Chuds really have to try and step up and make some magic out of nothing. They got the sentry gun up. They got someone hiding over in water. That is going to be low. Maybe just trying to see if Laz or Logan tries to go down there to get some cap time, and has been spotted out. The Uber from Froyotech coming in. They do take down the sentry gun immediately. Brand Slam getting onto the point, getting so much cap time, and Loaf and Map all going to go down. And it's just going to be up to Luddy, I think, just barely got, but wasn't able to use a nice bomb onto the heavy, and 4-0 in the favor of Froyotech, making it look extremely easy right now.
Yeah, and Froyo just saying those other games, let's be real, you were not in it, and they're just trying to shut out any idea that they are on the same level of this Froyo roster, and we really want to see a win here from the side of the Chuds, not just for the sake of us, but it is going to be really demoralizing, kind of having really, really good shots and then pulling up to your own map pick and getting absolutely dismantled, which Loaf is already weak. Math is in the same spot. A lot of damage on a Big Bang, and the Chuds kind of getting put into this corner. Loaf with a big bomb in. No support, some damage onto Hubba, and the aggression is just disconnected, and it actually isn't going to end up too bad. Big Bang with a huge play, leaning up Hubba, and just a great distraction on the side of the Chuds. Now Banny is in onto Luddy, shooting so many projectiles, isn't gonna hit, and a great job from Luddy kind of cleaning that up, but huge play off the distractions from the soldiers. Patty coming in late, not getting anything, and those late 2 projectile picks is gonna make it really nice to push into 2, and the only worry is that incoming Logan sniper.
Ooh, I thought it was going to be Branch Slam, but Logan makes more sense. He is the flank scout, immediately going to go through a pick through Big Door, so he has been spotted. They do know there is a sniper on the field. That surprise factor not quite there, but that doesn't mean the danger factor isn't, as he's over by Shutter. He's got Choke and Big Door completely locked down, so it forces the Chuds to really have to use here, and they do. Bombing in their demo. A nice damage onto Laz, but is still going to be able to get away there to safety. Chuds using the Uber for the point. It does mean that Froyotech are going to have Uber advantage to try and push out, but the silver lining for the Chuds is that, you know, Gully Wash is a map that you can kind of back cap on if you get in through Babid or maybe get in unseen, and it is a fast cap for last, so definitely doable.
And good spam, and Logan going down. Look behind the Uber, gonna get behind it. I don't think anyone has spotted. Math also pressuring that flank, and it's getting really, really chaotic. Both soldiers on the demo and River. They get the demo down. Both soldiers now going to last with no HP on either of them, and Math somehow threading the needle and getting out, allowing for a 4v4 situation. Slight ad from Luddy, so they may end up calling it and trying to make something work off this really small Uber ad they have generated here. But Big Bang getting one kill. Big Bang almost getting Patty as well. Math going for a Market Gardener. And once again, that 20% ad, which is going to be very tough to actually make something happen off of.
It is. They're probably going to have to go without Big Bank, and it seems like they're maybe getting into position. Raven looks like he wants to take it, and they are going to. They have to try and get in, either get some kills or take down Hubada before he gets in. They're not really doing either. No one has died just quite yet in this Uber, and Loaf is going to be the first one who does. That's not good for the Chuds. Luddy dies as well. Patty with the flank from behind. It's only going to be Big Bank and Raven.
Ooh,
Raven goes down. Oh, they might not. Does Logan stay, though?
Oh, Laz is going to stay, and the timing, Laz with the easiest 2-rocket of his life. Cleaning that up, Big Bank with a good heads-up play there, but Laz knowing the only way we are going to possibly lose this is a back cap, so let's not even risk it, and they shut that down. And now, from once a very nice position has turned into they have full Uber disad, they're down a player, and it's going to be all on this low hold, which has been completely snuffed out, leading into a not a great look here.
Not a great look, yeah, especially with Slug going down. He does get a trade in Brain Slam, but that's still a bit worse for the Chuds than it is for Froyotech. There's no demo to try and hold any of these choke points, meaning it's going to be a lot easier for Froyotech to walk in, and they do. Patty just going to jump through, gets onto the sniper. Big Bang got out of the forward spawn. That is extremely not good for the Chuds. Big Bang even saying in chat, my bad. So recognizing that one immediately, that was an attempt from Map. Looking like a desperation play there, because that just gives Froyotech an even bigger player advantage to push in here.
Yeah, and beginning kind of the methodical play of breaking this last hold coming out once again. Logan going in, getting the kill. Uber trade coming out. Cap time is already out. It's going to be a 4v3. The entirety, or the team, the side of the Chuds have to stay on point. Big Bang getting kind of 2v1 by both scouts. A lot of damage, but the spawner of Math coming in to kind of support there. And it looks like they're going to be able to survive one more hold here, which, as we've seen, they have not been able to kind of deal with. And it's going to be a lot of them focusing on keeping their gun alive and making sure that scout water cannot just get onto the point without dying.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very difficult for the Chuds here. At least it is even Uber, so they don't have to worry about losing or just being on the back foot almost immediately. But Logan is up on Spy, and he is committed. He's out of the spawn room, and I don't think the Chuds are ready for this one, considering Froyotech have had really good success, not even needing to rely on any off classes. I think this Spy is going to catch them out by surprise.
He's on stopwatch, so he's got a timer on him. He's about to end up, gets the cloak. Luddy, I think, spotted it. Uber's going to come in. The sap does not come out. Uber coming out on the side of the Chuds, and it looks like they're going to survive that Spy play and maybe end up with 2 picks here, which is going to give an opportunity to push out, but it's always sketchy pushing out of goalie last, especially with that Logan spawner coming up, and the Chuds really have to pick up the speed. Side of Froyo really deciding to keep that high ground, not giving up any space, and it looks like they've done a good enough job stalling for the spawners to come in and the Chuds to head right back to last, to that uncomfortable situation they've already been in before, but Slug getting picked off in transition, which is most likely going to spell bad news for the side of the Chuds.
It is, as Laz is going to come in. He trades out. Actually, Math gets on the Hubba. That can be very good. All they have to do is try and kill all of these flooding in Froyotech players. They have to stand onto the point. A huge nuke from Banny might just seal it, and it does. Froyotech taking it 5-0 within 20 minutes. Not even 20. Really dominant stuff from them tonight. Definitely showing we are #1. They have gone undefeated in the regular season, looking like mint Froyotech out there, and they just putting up a huge challenge to the Chuds and everyone else in the playoffs for invite to say, hey, we're the top dogs, we know it, you got to come to us.
Yeah, and just overall, that is what I expect from a Froyo team. They played perfect, even when they were in bad situations. Being the team with those playmakers, a play happened and they ended up converting it entirely and kind of shutting out any hope there. But with this being, I don't think this was a great map for the side of Chuds, just pick-wise. I don't know. I don't know the Chuds that well. Maybe they felt good on it. But I feel like this may be a map you will not see in this matchup again, unless it was an off night. But overall, a really good way to end the season on the side of Froyo and just kind of get yourself back into it and really set yourself as a confident first place contender for the side of the playoffs, which should be coming up very soon.
Yeah, it will. It'll give a lot of confidence over to Froyotech. And for the Chuds, definitely, you know, it could be, maybe it was just a test for them. Like, all right, let's see. We haven't played Gully Wash. Or actually, no, they did against Global Clan, but maybe they haven't played Gully Wash against a, you know, one of the higher seeded teams like Froyotech or the Wall, and, you know, wanted to try it out right before playoffs so they have some intel on how it is. Intel is not too good for them.
Yeah, no, not good news.
Yeah. So at least, you know, like you said, it doesn't, you know, get them out of playoffs or anything like that. It's still going to be the same matchup for them.
It changes absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so maybe they can just write it off like that. But otherwise, Froyotech should be feeling very confident, undefeated season, and looking pretty good for them in playoffs.
Like the 30th one in the books, probably. You know, honestly, if it's not an undefeated season, it's a surprise. But great season, especially with kind of some roster turmoil, some new players, and just really coming out on their feet. No kind of stumbling at all. Well, maybe a little bit, but getting it all together by the end of the season, and I think putting themselves in a really comfortable position leading up to these playoffs.
It is going to be a very comfortable position for Froyotech, but if you want to be in a comfortable position, you should buy some RGL merch and then wear it, because they are comfy. You're going to be repping some nice stuff, some cool TF2 logos and designs. It all goes to keeping this RGL thing afloat and all the services that it provides. Also, they got some seasonal things. They got some seasonal things coming back, so definitely take advantage of that, because if you don't get it now, it might be gone the next time you look. So buy it, check it, wear it, and all that great stuff. But otherwise, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. I mean, we could look at logs, but it was pretty dominant from Froyotech. All we're just going to be seeing is some big numbers from them. Which, I mean, you know, we can. Just looking at it real quick. Branch Slam 16-8, 301, Banny 12-3. Actually, only died 3 times. That's pretty good. 335 and equal with Hubba. So staying alive a lot, kind of being that demo that he always wants out of someone. So being that himself.
Hey, Slug got his man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, Slug did get his man. Nice 330. Actually, yeah, equal with Banny on. Actually, exactly equal. They have the exact same damage. 500.
You know, he took less, wow. So, you know, demo gap. Other than that, good game, you know, good night. I hope everybody has a nice, relaxing evening leading into kind of playoffs, like we said, coming up in the coming weeks. I think, is it next weekend or has it been announced? It has yet to be announced. So keep up to date on that. Follow the social medias, look on TFTV, you know, do what you need to. Otherwise, we will most likely be back to see you again. So stay safe, have a good time. Good night.